Hello, good afternoon everyone. I Pritesh Dia here, working as an assistant professor in MEP's KPT College of Engineering, Nasik. So today we are going to discuss the topic that is economic order quantity, that is AOQ. We already in brief discussed about this topic in our lectures which was conducted in the college. So today we are going to see this economic order quantity in detail. Then we are going to see the problem related to this particular economic order quantity. As the contents, if you can see in the particular slide, is what is the need of the EOQ, then basic definition, terminologies, assumptions, what are the EOQ models, calculations, advantages and disadvantages. So already we have discussed that economic order quantity, that whenever you order something, it should not be less enough, it should not be more enough. So it should be in optimized manner. It should not consume lot much of resources. It should not consume lot much of money. It should not consume lot much of space in the particular go down or whatever the store is there. So in order to maintain all the things, all the stock in the balanced way, we have to think about this economic order quantity. So a crucial decision for material manager is that how much quantity of material may be ordered at a time. So that is very difficult job for the manager or whatever material manager is there, because suddenly some contractor may demand any of the material, and we have to make an adjustment for that particular material. So whatever the quantity of the material which has been ordered, it should be as per the requirement given by the contractors, and it should be as per the schedule which has been prepared on MSP or Primavera. So it should follow the schedule also, it should follow the requirement also, and all the material should be in stock, not in the very optimized manner. Optimized manner means it should not be less enough and it should not be more enough. So this decision has to be taken by the material manager. So it doesn't mean that whenever you require something and that time you are ordering some material and then that material is coming on the site, so we'll wait for the particular material. It should not be like that. So pre-planning is required for that, and this pre-planning can be done with the help of the COQ only. So economic order quantity means exactly how much quantity we have to order and how many times we have to order the material. So that is important, and we there are some formulas related to EOQ. Based on that, we can able to find out the number of order which we have to place for the entire project to complete. So second need is investment in inventories, largely depends upon the quantity of the material ordered. So already we have discussed that if you talk about the construction sector, so it is around 50% of material or the cost is incurred by the material only. So 50% is cost required only for the material purchasing and all those things. So rest 50% depends upon the contractor and all whatever the extra money is required. So around 50% has been consumed by the material, and in this case, though, investment in the inventories is very important. Already we have seen the ABC, that is always better control. The ABC analysis is nothing but we have to categorize the material, and based upon the categorization we have to order the material. So already we have seen that particular ABC analysis. It is one of the part of the inventory management only. So exactly categorization is there, and based on the categorization we have to order the material. So it is the next process, that inventory has to be maintained properly by the material manager, and in this case investment in inventories largely depends upon the quantities of material ordered. So as you go on ordering the material as required, so definitely it is not feasible enough. You should order the material once only, not once in the sense means as per the requirement given by the contractor and the sequential operations which are there in the schedule of the entire project. If the schedule shows that this much cement bag is required in this particular month, in the next month you will require this much bags of cement, so continuously for first 6 months will require some material. In that case definitely it is better to go for ordering of that cement bags once only, so it could be consumed for the next 6 months or 2 months, or whatever the schedule is there. The next part is ordering large lots reduces the administrative work but increases the investment in the stock. So as this point we have already seen in the earlier slides of the material management, so that means mostly in the whatever the integrated approach is there in the material manager. So it was the second or third topic of the first unit. So in that case we have seen that whatever the finance department is there, so they think about the profit, so they think that we should order the material once only, so we can get maximum discount and we can get a profit in that particular material. But if you talk about the investment decision, or if you talk about the store manager, so it is very difficult for him to maintain those stock. If the material coming on the site and there is no space for storing that material, so there is no use of that material for that material to be ordered once only. So you should think about the volume, you should think about the space, and also you should think about the investment in the sense, if you require the cement bag, when you require the cement bags in the 6th or 7th month of the particular project duration, so there is no need to order that material in the first month only. It's better to order in the 5th, or either in 5th or 6th month, so we can able to balance the quantity or the requirement which is given by the contractor, and also we can maintain or we can reduce down the investment cost also. So these are few logical things which we need to think about it, and based on that the order should be given. Then next need is ordering small lots keep the investment low but increases the administrative work. So this is vice versa. Already we have seen that what administrative work means, the paperwork has been increased. If you order in the small amount, so definitely each time preparing the invoice, preparing the work order, preparing the bills related to the thing, and when preparing the receipts when it comes on the site, and all those things. So all those things requires a repetitive kind of administrative work or paperwork is increasing. So this should not also happen, that each means in the very every week we are ordering few things, and then we are using it. So it's better to order optimizely means either we can survive based on that particular thing for 1 month, 2 month. So simple example I would like to give is the household commodities. So it's not like that every week we go into market and we purchase the household commodities, or whatever the commodities we require on day-to-day basis. It's better to get that material, get that commodities once in the month, and you will use that particular material for entire 1 month. So this is nothing but a planning which is done by the any of the family related to the commodities. So in the same manner we have to take the decision for this construction sector also, that how much to order and how many times we have to order. So at last, therefore, the rational approach is needed for fixing the quantity to be ordered. Rational approach is needed for fixing the quantity to be ordered means we need some scientific reason, not scientific reason but a scientific technique for ordering the material, and this could be possible with the help of the EOQ has having some formula. Based on that we can able to analyze number of orders for that entire project, how many orders we should give for the particular material. So this could be possible with the help of this EOQ technique. Now the next part is the definition of the EOQ. As EOQ is the level of inventory that minimizes total inventory holding cost and ordering cost. So inventory holding cost and ordering cost. So inventory holding cost means we have to order the material. When that material is ordered, it comes on the site, and again we have to maintain that inventories in our stores. So we require some cost for storing that material, for holding that material also, and the second thing is ordering cost. Ordering cost will include all the paperwork. It may be related to the people that are working for this particular administrative work and all those things, and also the transportation and all. So this comes under the ordering cost. So this EOQ will maintain or reduce down this inventory holding cost and ordering cost, so we can gain a maximum profit, and we can avoid such congestion of the things. Now basic terminologies. So inventory procurement cost or inventory ordering cost, as the cost incurred in ordering or procurement of the material. So inventory procurement or inventory ordering cost means we have to procure some material, we have to bring the material from the supplier, or it may be from the manufacturer, to the site. So that particular process or that thing is called as a procurement, or that thing is called as an ordering. So material starting from the requirement, when it is to be ordered, and then it is to be received, and then it is kept in the store. So entire process is called as a procurement process. So the cost incurred in ordering or procurement of the material is nothing but the ordering cost. So it is inversely proportional to the quantity ordered in a lot. So definitely it is inversely proportional. If you go on increasing the number of orders, definitely your means if your order is quite more, or whether quantity is more, and we are ordering it once, so definitely your procurement or ordering cost will go on decreasing. So this is inversely proportional to each other. So next part is, it consists of expenditure concerned with raising and processing the material requisition, that is indent. So raising and processing the material requisition, so we have some proper process for this, proper flow process for this. So as already we have discussed that the requirement is given by the contractor to the site supervisor to the senior engineer, from senior engineer to the project manager, and then project manager put it in front of the purchase department, and based upon this the cycle will go on. So this raising and processing the material requisition is nothing but it is called as an indent. So indent is prepared, requirement is prepared, and it is put in front of the higher authorities. So next part is raising and processing the price request letter to the suppliers. Now this is the second process, that raising and processing the price request means nothing but to get the quotations from the suppliers, and then we have to analyze the suppliers. We same thing which we have discussed this thing in our vendor analysis also, that we have to find some suppliers, call some quotations, then we have to do some comparative statement of that quotations, and then we have to finalize the lowest 3 or 4 quotations for that, and then we have to contact to the suppliers and get the order from them. So this is the exact procedure which has to be followed for this, and we require some cost for this, and that is nothing but the inventory procurement cost. Now in this entire process, as already we have seen, it consists of expenditure concerned with receiving the quotation from the suppliers, preparing the comparative statement, and placing the purchase order. So this 3 process has to be carried out, and this 3 process requires some resources. It may be related to the stationery material, it may be related to the people that are working for this thing, it may be purchase department, or it may be related to the finance department, and based on this we are preparing or going into this 3 process. Now next expenditure which would be considered for this is the following up the suppliers for delivery of the material when order is given. So next process will be take the follow up of that particular requirement or whatever the order which we have given. Then next is when it comes to the saying receiving the material and checking the quality of the material. So again we require some cost for this process also, so that is to be considered. And next expenditure which should be concerned is rejection of material. If some faulty or a damaged material is coming on the site and it is to be identified in the quality check, so definitely that material has to be rejected. Then again it is to be forwarded, returned back to the supplier, and then we get the new material in return of that, and processing the bills given by the suppliers. So this is ultimate, this is the process which is required for completing the entire thing, and we have to release the amount to the supplier. Now next part is the inventory carrying cost, the cost incurred in storing the material, and it is directly proportional to the quantity ordered in a lot. So carrying cost, inventory carrying cost means nothing but whatever the inventory which is coming on the site, again we have to store that particular inventories, and we should maintain those inventories in the proper manner, or we should secure that inventories in the proper manner. So just the cost which is incurred for storing the material is nothing but the inventory carrying cost, and it is directly proportional to the quantity ordered in the lot. So as you go on increasing the quantity, definitely your inventory carrying cost will go on increasing. So they are directly proportional to each other, and the expenditure which should be concerned with this particular carrying cost, inventory carrying cost, is cost of storage facility, cost of record keeping, cost of deterioration and obsolescence, and cost of insurance. So this are four cost which is to be considered in the inventory carrying cost. So this carrying cost, inventory carrying cost, and inventory procurement cost, so these are the two things which we should think about, and based on that we have to take the decision how much quantity we have to order and how many times we have to order. So now from this graph you can able to see, as ordering cost, it goes on reducing as the quantity of the order goes on increasing, means that particular quantity goes on increasing. So as maximum order you quantity you order, so definitely our ordering cost will go on reducing. And the holding cost, so already we are saying it is directly proportional. So you can see the graph that it is linearly increasing, and so it is as the holding cost, that means that carrying cost will go on increasing as the number of quantity goes on increasing. So where this particular two uh, graph coincides, that or intersect each other, that is holding cost and ordering cost, so that particular point is nothing but optimum, or you can call it as an EOQ, economic order quantity, where we could able to get the very less total cost for the particular order. And this could be finalized with the, means we require some data for this particular graph. So we require the holding cost also, we require ordering cost also, then adding up we will get the total cost and all those things. So we'll see this particular graph in detail in our numerical, so which will be discussed in the next video. So just here we have to remember that thing, that ordering cost is inversely proportional to the quantities. So as the quantity goes on increasing, your ordering cost will go on decreasing, and in the holding cost it is directly proportional. So holding cost will go, as the quantity goes on increasing, it will go on increasing. So where they coincides each other or intersect each other, so that point is nothing but called as an EOQ. So total cost, now the total cost, the sum of the inventory procurement cost and inventory carrying cost. So procurement plus inventory carrying cost is nothing but our total cost of the particular material. Now assumptions which has to be considered. Now ordering cost is constant, then rate of demand is known and spread evenly throughout the year. So ordering cost is constant mostly in some of the material, we can get the ordering cost as a constant, but in some of the material, as the market prices fluctuations are there. So if you talk about the aggregate also, if you talk about the sand also, if you talk about the cement bags also, so it goes on fluctuating on day to day basis depending upon the demand in the market, and based on that your cost may go on uh, increasing or it may decrease also. So it is about the commodity price. But if you talk about the ordering cost also, so this ordering cost mostly it will remain constant, that for ordering that material it is a part of the contractor. So how much stationery or how much resources will require for each and every time, the same cost will be required for ordering any of the material on the particular site. So this ordering cost is always constant. The rate of demand is known and spread evenly throughout the year. So this rate of demand is known as, rate of demand means requirement which is there and it should be spread evenly throughout the year. So if you have a proper schedule, if you have a proper timetable for that, so definitely you can able to spread that entire demand in a proper way month wise, and you can evenly distribute the entire orders. The time that elapsed between the placing a replenishment order and receiving the item into a stock, it is called as a lead time, and it is zero. So lead time should not be more. So when you place an order, then and when you receive that particular material, so that gap or that time should be as less as possible. So it is nothing but the lead time, and it should be zero. So mostly we try to reduce down this lead time, so we can able to have control over the production also, and we can able to complete the work within time also. Next assumption: purchase price of item is constant and is independent of the order size. So this purchase price of item is constant mostly in project which we are doing, mostly for the steel or the cement. So in that case we can get the purchase price as a constant and is independent of the order size. So definitely if you do the agreement with that particular supplier or any of the company, so we can get that price throughout the completion of the project. So that is nothing but a project. So this is possible only in that case, but in some other cases this fluctuation is applicable, and at that time we have to face or we have to borne those particular cost or whatever the fluctuation rate is there, and we have to face those fluctuations also. The replenishment is made instantaneously. The whole batch is delivered at once. So this is very important, that when you order the material, that supplier should be eligible to satisfy the entire order, and he should deliver the each and every material at once only. He should not do like that. I will give, if you want 100 bags, I will give 50 bags today and 50 bags tomorrow. So in very rare cases this could be accepted, but mostly it would not be feasible for the contractor also, and it would not be feasible for the supplier also. The inventory carrying charges vary directly or linearly. The items have fairly long life. The items can be procured in quantities desired. So items have fairly long life. So mostly steel is one of the example, aggregate is one of the example, sand is one of the example, so which has a long life. So it can be ordered at once also, and we store at the site also. So there is no issue with any of the damaging of those material and all those things. But in case of the cement bags, we have some expiry dates and all those things, and in that case we could not follow this particular, or should not follow this, satisfy this assumption. Here in EOQ model you can able to see, on y-axis it is quantity order, and on x-axis there is a time. So at
last you can see, or we can see that buffer stock is there. Then after that buffer stock there is a minimum level, and after that minimum level there is a maximum level. So we should able to analyze the buffer stock, we should able to think about the lead time also, and we should think about the reorder point also. So if you see that reorder point, and reorder point could be analyzed with the help of the lead time. Lead time means when you order the material and when it will reach to the site. So based on that we should find out the reorder point for each and every order. So that thing, so the difference between the minimum and the maximum level is nothing but the standard order. Standard order means we should not go into the buffer stock, we should not get the buffer stock, or we should not consume that buffer stock. So buffer stock, as already we know, buffer stock is nothing but the dead storage which is there in the stock. So as I'll give the example of the dam. So mostly in dam we have the dead storage, then we have the minimum water level and we have maximum water level. So above maximum water level it has to be mostly in the rainy season, this it reaches above the maximum water level or maximum flood level, and that excess water has to be removed with the help of the gates. So in mostly in the summer season we go up to the minimum level, and we should not go below that minimum level or into the dead storage. So we should not consume the water which is there in the dead storage. So it is a emergency standby, and if in some cases we require that water, we can go. So that is one of the risk, that if you are consuming that dead storage also, in some days it would be consumed and you will have a zero stock in your store. So in the same manner this thing is applicable for the inventories also. So we should not go into the buffer stock, or we should not enter into the buffer stock. So for that we should know the exact reorder point. When the material is at a maximum level, it after consumption it will go on reducing. So at what time we should reorder that material, so that we can get, or we can able to use that material in the within that lead time. So you can able to see that within that lead time, so there is difference between the reorder point and the um, uh, point where the minimum level is to be achieved. So that difference between this thing is nothing but the reorder point. So we should know the exact reorder point. The EOQ model. So maximum quantity, OA, maximum limit to which the inventory can be kept in the store at any time. So you can able to see on the y-axis OA. So it is a maximum quantity, and minimum quantity is nothing but OE, minimum limit of the inventory uh, which must be kept in the store at any time. It is called, also called as a reserve stock, or we can say buffer stock. The importance of this minimum quantity OE, it avoids running out of the stock, helps creating a buffer stock, provides means whatever the material which is there, means if there is very difficult situation that we are not getting that particular material, so in that case we can reach, or we can go into this buffer stock also. So the material can be quickly available on the at the particular site. The next part is to take care of the price fluctuation also. So price fluctuation means in some cases your price has been increased very uh, high. So in that case we can able to go into this use of this particular buffer stock also. So it's better to use that buffer stock, and later on after few days definitely the fluctuation, that rate will go on decreasing, and we can able to purchase the new material, and we can maintain the buffer stock also. So there are some possibilities where we can use this buffer stock also. Now here we will discuss standard order, reorder point, and lead time. So the difference between the maximum and the minimum quantity, and it is the EOQ. So EOQ is nothing but at economic order quantity. Economic order quantity means we should not reach below the uh, minimum stock which is available on the site. So the difference between maximum and minimum is nothing but the standard order, and that is nothing but a EOQ. And reorder point indicates that high time to initiate a purchase order. So reorder point means when that material goes on reducing after the consumption, so we should know the exact reorder point where we should order the material, and we can get that material before reaching to the minimum level. So time elapsed between the placing of order and receiving the material in stock, so that is nothing but a lead time. Now we can have this formula. So Q is equal to under root 2UP upon CI. So number of purchase order of the to be furnished, so U upon Q, and total procurement cost is UP upon Q. Now here Q is the economic order quantity, C is the cost for one item, then I is the cost of carrying inventory in percentage per period, then P is the procurement cost per order, and U is the total quantity used per order per period. So this economic order quantity we should know, then so we have to calculate. Then C, that is cost of each and every item we are knowing. Then I is the inventory, it is mostly given in the percentage only. So P is the procurement cost per order, so per order how much cost you require, that is nothing but the procurement cost. And U is the total quantity used per period, means whatever the duration which we are considering, either 1 year, 2 year, or depending upon the duration of the project. So we can able to know this particular calculation very well in our numerical. So in that case we'll discuss this thing, this entire formula, and how we can able to achieve the uh, economic order quantity. Now advantages and disadvantages. As advantages are, it avoids the confusion about the quantity to be purchased per order. So definitely we can get the exact value, exact quantity, how much to order and how many times we have to order. Helps in taking the decision regarding the quantity to be ordered. So this thing is same, that how much decision is to be taken based upon the number of quantities and number of order also. And it avoids the stock out condition also. Stock out condition means after entering into the buffer stock also, and we use that entire buffer stock, then we reach up to the stock out, and where we don't have any of the material on the site, and the entire resources are sitting idly, or we have to give the money for that particular contractor for the idle situation, and definitely it is not feasible for the owner himself. Then disadvantage is that it involves tough and complex mathematical calculations, so that is very tedious enough. Then a significant knowledge of algebra and concepts of EOQ is needed for this. So exactly we can able to, based upon the graph, so that is linearly proportional, then we have inversely proportional, based on that we have to find out the EOQ. Not feasible for small scale businesses. So definitely for small scale or a small scale project, this is not possible to do the or use the particular EOQ models. Mostly in the township project, or where the project goes on increasing for lot many years, and in that case the consumption of material is also more, and the quantum wise a project is very large. In that case we can definitely go for this EOQ technique, and feasibly it can be used. Requires a strong coordination between all the departments. So ultimately that is important, so that whatever the coordination, it should be strong enough between all the departments, then only we can able to maintain, or we can able to reduce down this entire cost for procurement and all those things. So thank you for listening this presentation, and uh, in next presentation or the video we'll discuss the problem or a numerical related to the EOQ, and your entire concept of the EOQ would be